Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Heritage. And today we are coming to you from the Philippines, where we have, I believe, is our first natural conservation area. So we're branching a little far away from the history here. Woo.
Yeah. Well, not entirely. It is important, in all of our covering of these UNESCO World Heritage sites to talk about the fact that, World Heritage isn't always something man-made. Things, the world is also the natural world, and there are countless sites that are just about the nature.
I've heard plenty of songs that say it's a man's world.
Yeah, you were waiting for that. I saw you just he's just over there, just jaw trying
Yeah.
to get the word in. But yes, our um, Our site today is the Mount Hamiguitan Range Wildlife Sanctuary. This is a mountain range on the uh, Huada Peninsula in the south eastern part of Mindanao, which is the second largest island of the Philippines.
Ooh. Fancy.
Uh, yeah, it is. It is a critical habitat for both land and water creatures, and it is home to 8 species of plant and animal that only exist in Mount Hamiguitan.
Ooh. So
Yeah, very rare.
hyper specialized local fauna. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, very beautiful. Yes, it is also home to a number of what are considered iconic and very famous Philippine creatures, namely the Philippine eagle and the Philippine cockatoo. So we've got some lovely birds to show off in all
Birds.
of that. Um, not to mention in the photo gallery, an ungodly number of pitcher plants.
Yeah, made me think of the one Pokemon.
We do not discuss the things that haunt my dreams. We do not discuss those.
But
But
one of the
yes,
big reasons this site is so important and ended up on here is because it is an almost entirely unmolested landscape. It is still in its complete intact form that maintains this entire diverse mountainous ecosystem and has those unique species. Like it's one of the last places on this planet that hasn't really had that much human interference. I mean, there's obviously been some as it's been built up for travel and for people to
yeah,
visit, but like,
yeah. The protection itself is essentially human interference. The verdant landscape does not exist. However, this is as close as we are ever going to get um, to that truly untouched wildlife. Let's just see. There's some wonderful stats on these.
a
Uh,
total area of 16,923 hectares with a buffer zone of 9,729 hectares. So that's a large site. Massive.
yeah. Additionally, this site is home to a unique type of forest, which is known as a tropical bonsai forest. That is, that exists at the heights of the Mount Hamiguitan Range. Um, it's a unique type of forest. It comes from the sort of semi-isolation of this range, and it's what happens when you have the same plants start trying to inhabit different climates and different soil types, because there is no competition for them to not inhabit that site. There's no other tree or bush already there. And effectively, you get these bonsai forests where just the trees start shaping themselves as you change elevation.
We
Um,
love a good bonsai.
yeah, yeah.
But then
It's currently
also in terms of protections, it obviously has a whole slew of local and indigenous communities living that work and help maintain the management of the property. Um, and there also is a lot of we mentioned it a little bit on the podcast episode, but there's some spirituality and some religious sites associated with the refuge as well.
oh yes, definitely. Yes, the a lot of indigenous Filipino belief systems involve gods of various locations, spirit guardians of nature, ancestors that inhabit various wild places in the world, and so there is a lot of that initial connection that is being honored and is tied to places like this in the Philippines. Um, that said, this is probably one of the more extensive protection and management sections we've seen on a UNESCO conservation site, probably because there is no people and structures getting in the way to deal with here. Um, as you know, we so often see with like historic centers of cities, there's an entire living city surrounding this thing.
Yeah, which is interesting, but it sometimes that can be beneficial because people do like to have a little bit of reprieve near their homes.
Yeah,
It's just
but yeah. At the same time, the fact that this is so isolated means that it's free game to write into law whatever protection is the most beneficial to the site itself, as opposed to having to really compromise with all these pesky humans living there trying to exist in the 21st century.
which most of the protection and board come from the Mount Hamiguitan Protected Area Management Board, or the PAMB, which
Yeah.
oversees most of that aspects. And they also work in accordance with the Protected Area Superintendent's Office, who implements activities set down in the plan as well as policies over it. So they work at it, and then they also end up having a 5-year visitor and tourist plan. So they try to anticipate growths and changes in the tourism industry and try to accommodate that as well.
Yeah. And additionally, they are this all these offices are not working in isolation. That does say that they consult with what is known as Bante Gubat personnel, which are people that come from the three municipalities that have territory through which this UNESCO heritage site exists. Um, or I should say, across which this site exists. That's bad English on my part.
And the few municipalities, so the one city and town that are bordering it, they do also align their own tourist and development plans with the management plan, so there aren't so there aren't contradictory plans set forth, and they actually work in unison together.
Yeah, 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 which is very important because we are trying that effectively what we're trying to do here is protect some 418 species of plant and 146 species of animal that are currently known to us to live in this mountain range. It is suspected to be highly likely that there are yet more undiscovered forms of life living here, which is not something entirely common in on land these days. So that is just another reason to keep it around, because there's the big "we don't know what else could be here" sign, and I like that sign.
And on that mysterious note, I think that's a great point for us to wrap up. We don't know what's ahead. Thank you guys for watching. What we can tell you is be sure to tune in. We got a lot more episodes coming through the pipeline, and we'll see you in the next video.